Welcome back to Painting with Repaint. I'm your host, Billy Osmus. I'm the CEO and founder of Repaint Studios. And today we are going to be talking about different roller naps and sizes, so that way you can pick the best roller for your next painting project. First things first, we're going to start with a microfiber paint roller. These are my favorite, but they are also going to be your most expensive one because they are of a higher quality. One tip I want to note for any roller is you can see there's a little bit of shedding happening here, just kind of naturally falling off because it's brand new. A good tip is you can use painter's tape. You wrap the tape around the roller and peel it off. It'll help get all the shedding, all the different fibers and things that are kind of falling off of this, so that way you don't get any of these fuzzies sticking to your wall. Now with these microfiber type rollers, this is going to hold a lot more paint than some of these other ones. You're going to get a lot less splatter that's going to be happening on your face or other parts. It's going to stay on the wall. You're going to have a much smoother finish. Microfiber rollers are going to be able to load the paint way better, hold more paint, and lay it down very even on the walls compared to some of its counterparts. Keep in mind, this is going to be your most expensive option, but if you're really going for that professional finish, a microfiber paint roller is going to be your best go-to. Now, polyester roller covers, or roller naps as we call them, these are going to be the more budget-friendly, more affordable option. However, there can be a lot more shedding compared to the microfiber ones. So again, you want to do the painter's tape trick, so you can just wrap the painter's tape around it, pull off all the fuzzies to make sure it's not sticking to your wall. There's obviously different roller nap sizes that we'll get into later, but this is going to be the more lower quality roller nap that you're going to use. If you're just doing a one-off project or you're rarely painting, this is probably going to be your best option, best bang for your buck. The downside is you're not going to get as much paint that's going to absorb into the roller itself and have wider coverage, so you might be loading your roller quite a bit more than a microfiber one. And also you might not get as smooth of a finish on your walls as you typically would with the alternatives that are out there. But again, this is a good option and it can still do a really good job, especially if you're just doing a one-off project or, an accent wall or something here or there. Next is your foam roller. These are not usually my go-to when I'm doing painting projects, but they can also be a great tool for when you're doing something with a smoother type surface, a cabinet door or some trim. They're great for just smaller projects here and there, or touch-ups as well. So again, these can be a good option. I don't typically use them, but again, it can kind of come down to the preference that you prefer. I usually go with, again, like a microfiber or a polyester type smaller roller if I'm working on smaller projects or cabinet doors or trim to that extent. Okay, now we're going to go through the different roller nap sizes, or width as you will, because there's so many. I can't tell you how many times before I got into painting I would just walk through the hardware store and look at these and just grab one and say, all right, yep, this is the one I'm going to use, and not even actually know what I was grabbing. First things first, we're going to start with the 1/4 inch roller nap. When I say roller nap, it's the fibers that you can see here in the tube that kind of go outward here. So this one is a lot smaller. It's a lot skinnier, so that means it's not going to hold as much paint. Really, the only time you want to use a roller nap that is this tight like this is when you're just doing an ultra smooth surface, again, cabinets and maybe some trim or something to that extent. So again, I don't typically use this one, but it can be a good option if you're doing a smoother surface. Anytime you're just doing a general, painting a room, drywall, maybe it has a little bit of texture, or ceiling that has some texture, I would typically go with a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch roller, because that's going to hold a bit more paint. Also, it's going to work best for any sort of textured walls. These sizes are going to be your go-to for any sort of just general painting of bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, whatever you name it. Last one we're going to look at is the 3/4 roller nap. This one, obviously you can see I can run my fingers through it. You can see how wide it really is. This is going to be for anything that's heavily textured, so maybe a stucco. There is also even bigger ones beyond this that could be used for a brick or masonry type job that you're doing outside. I, again, don't use this one as frequently as I use these two, so it's just going to really kind of depend on your project that you're doing. But one thing to remember is the bigger the nap, or the bigger the roller as far as the width goes, the harder the surface, or the rougher the texture of the wall or surface that you're going to be painting. So smaller, you're going to think of a smooth type wall, and bigger is going to be more of a stucco or a rough surface. There are so many different sizes of paint rollers that you can get on the market, anywhere from down to a 2-inch paint roller size as far as length goes, all the way up to an 18-inch paint roller size. Again, the 18-inch roller you're typically going to use in a larger space or in a commercial or professional type setting. Otherwise, the standard is going to be your 9-inch roller. But again, I've used all the way down to 2-inch when I'm using it for really small projects, and again, all the way up to 18-inch. So it's whatever you're comfortable with, as well as knowing the type of surface you're painting and the size of the room. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Painting with Repaint. Tune in next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe.